In this video, we're going to be breaking down all things real estate from a real estate agent who I've had the pleasure of working with for a few years now. Whether you're a new agent or a seasoned agent, maybe looking to make a switch in brokerages, I think there's going to be some golden nuggets in here for you. So take a look and enjoy. Hey guys, so today I have Josh Rockholt with Rockholt Real Estate here with me, and we're going to be rattling off some questions for him. So I think it's kind of nice to have Josh here and kind of break down how he got started and then how he got to the position he's in now, which is starting his own brokerage. So kind of tell us a little bit about how long you've been in real estate, maybe how you got started, and a little bit about your background, like what were you doing before real estate?
Yeah, so real estate itself has been a really fun and interesting 6-year journey so far. And before that started, I was in the Navy. I was in the military, in the Navy for...
I'm Army, so
fake Army.
We immediately hate each other.
So I was in the Navy for 9 years. I was an in-flight avionics tech, and so we had a real big plane that didn't land on carriers, but we would fly out over the ocean, hunt submarines, and my job was to keep the electronics working so that we could stay on mission. And so I spent 9 years doing that in the Navy. And so I had decided that although that was a great gig, it wasn't the long-term career that I wanted. And real estate had been on my mind for a long, long time. I knew that it was a fantastic way to build wealth, and I knew it was a fantastic way to be involved in the community and to help people. So I took the course, 150 hours, and I did that in about 2.5 months while I was working between 40 and 60 hours. And I had this great plan that I was going to stay with my 9-to-5 job and do real estate part-time, and real estate was just going to snowball into this massive career, and I would have no choice but to leave my job. And it almost went like that. I did one transaction as soon as I got my license and didn't do another one for 8 months. Close. Almost nailed it.
That's a pretty big snowball.
So, yeah. So I realized that part-time real estate just was not an option if I wanted to make a career out of it. And I drew a line in the sand and stepped over it. And it was terrifying.
Went full time?
Yep, went full time, just like that.
Yeah.
And so went to a team when I first started. And so, which turned out to be a really terrific choice, right? It helped bridge that gap coming into the industry. But I wasn't acting as an agent. I was a sales agent. And so, so on the team, all I did was lead generate every day, just lead generate. And so the massive benefit there was that I got to try out a bunch of different types of lead gen and just feel out what clicked for me and what I could be successful at. I decided I needed a different structure and went away from the team on my own. And at that time, I also switched companies. It ended up being a really good choice, even if I didn't know it was going to be that good of a choice at the time.
I did the same thing. I was on a team, and then when I left the team, changing companies in my mind just made sense because you didn't want to mix paints or be associated with, you know, that team anymore if you're not, you know, a part of it. So yeah, I think that totally makes sense. And same, the structure wasn't there for me either. That's when I came to Movement Mortgage. But yeah, we're getting a lot of information out to you guys. But I think, like, to recap really quick, taking the test, getting licensed, I sensed this kind of like burn the boats mentality.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if you are doing it part time, which I don't. I think everybody's got to do what they got to do. You know, you got to pay rent, but you got to understand this is a full-time gig and it requires full-time effort. And so I do believe that if you're going to do it full-time, you know, burn the boats and sink or swim. And then, yeah, the other golden nugget there, guys, was prospecting and lead generation. That's something that I had to learn as well. You know, I was on a team, so in the lending world, it's a little bit different. I wasn't in charge of lead gen. I was in charge of just getting the loans done. But the question always was, could I go find my own deals? And if I could, then I obviously know how to get them done, right? So I had to learn prospecting, I had to learn sales. And so, yeah, that's kind of like another big leap from like, hey, now I'm licensed to, okay, now I'm going and doing the business. And I think there's a big gap between people's real estate knowledge and people's sales skills. So since we're kind of touching on that, let's talk about the prospecting activities. Which ones did you settle on? Which ones did you enjoy? And what would your advice be for agents who are, you know, looking to maybe shake it up, try something new, whether it's Google ads, Facebook ads, or cold calling, door knocking, hitting the sphere? Like, out of all the things, what resonated with you, your personality type maybe? And
yeah, so on the team, when I was trying all of these different things, that environment was the last cold call I ever made. I did not enjoy that, and I felt that there wasn't, for me at least, a whole lot of success to be had with that type of lead gen. You know, you can name off all kinds of different lead gen types. It's not going to be a surprise to anybody because we know what they all are. But if you experience them, like I had the opportunity to, you figure out what resonates with you and what works well, what you have success with. And if you can create a result, a positive result, then you can duplicate that. And for me, it was starting off with doing door knocking was a really successful method for me. And so
it's interesting that you didn't like cold calling, but you like door knocking.
Well, I wouldn't say I liked it, but
you had results.
I had results from it. And so,
with it.
like, you know, I am an introverted personality, but getting through that barrier and going out and getting in front of people was critical because that's where the success was. And so, so I did a lot of that, and not just like a lot for a small period of time, like every day, hours of it for
so like
months.
Time blocking, just like every day I'm going to go hit.
Absolutely.
This,
go out
this
there
many doors.
And make goals. I'm going to set this many appointments. I'm going to have this many conversations because I know it leads to this many appointments, and having goals to hit and going out there and doing it until you hit the goals. So that was one that I was really confident with. And another big one for me was open houses. I did more than 40 open houses in 3 months, and that was same thing, right? Face to face. So little out of my comfort zone, but at the same time, go and have valuable conversations with people with the intention of finding out how to best help them, what their needs were. And that was another one of the major forms for me that helped me get off the runway.
Okay. All right. So open houses and door knocking. Yeah, I think open houses are huge opportunities. I think a lot of times that is missed on some agents, I'm sorry to say, but between putting out the signs, between how often or frequent, I know the sellers sometimes don't want to do that many or what have you, but and there's a whole another issue there with sellers just not listening to the experts. But yeah, I feel like the open house, if I was an agent, I would be milking the ever-loving you-know-what out of an open house, because you have, you got nosy neighbors and tire kickers and people that just like are, wasting your time. But there's also people that do walk in and they're not pre-approved. They're just starting that search. And so you're sitting there on the listing side and nabbing buyers. So that's huge. And
maybe seller buyers.
You
never know.
That's true.
You never know
that's
until
true.
you have those conversations. Right. That's why it's so critical to be focused on them and their needs. Otherwise, you will never find out.
And just talk to people. Just talk to them. Piece of advice. So maybe for a new agent, or an agent who's maybe looking to make a switch, what advice would you give them in the context of your experience and also maybe just the market that we're in right now?
So a lot has changed in 6 years, but so I mean, we could talk about the market all day, right? And where it's come from and where it's going and all of those things. But that is a critical point. If you're really going to add value for your clients, you're going to know the market and how it impacts their specific situation. So you always want to be up on what's happening and always studying. So when you're preparing to enter the industry, do lots of research and talk to people. Be aware of what types of brokerage is out there. If you want to be somebody who deep dives every transaction and provides the most value for every single client, you may not want to interview with a discount brokerage. That's not going to be a good fit. And so knowing the structure of brokerages and what their focus is and how they operate and what their expectations are versus your expectations, that would be the most critical key, I think, starting off in the right place. So you shorten that learning curve is a great way to get your start in the industry, right? So here's the thing, like when I left that team, I was like, I know how to generate business really good. I'll figure the rest out. And part of the reason that I had chosen where to hang my license was I was promised a mentor. What I didn't understand was the correlation between the benefit of my production to the mentor, right? There's a monetary gain there, or however the brokerages are structured, but you see that a lot. And so that doesn't necessarily ensure that a mentor is going to be by your side showing you how to do things first. Find somebody that is going to be there to help you, that has your best interest in mind, that is going to actually mentor you, not support you from afar. That's one thing.
That's true in the lending world as well.
That's one thing. And then if you've already like got past that stage and you're dodging landmines, it's not too late to find that person, right? So reach out. Just reach out and find somebody who
can help you navigate
it. That's it. Like, you don't have to do it on your own. There are people in the industry that care. And so find those very few people and align yourself.
Very true. Good advice. So yeah, tell us now, kind of coming full circle, you know, why Rockholt Real Estate? What was the mission there to start your own brokerage? What was the plan? You know, how did that come to be?
Yeah, so I mean, we've touched a bunch of the bases for how that came to be. It took probably all of that experience, but a real focus for probably a year before I actually started the brokerage, where I was super focused on everything that I had learned along the way and how I would want it to be, right? And so I developed this focus of what I think a brokerage should be. And I think that it should revolve around the client first, always give more value than you receive, and help each other develop. Like, not just say you're going to help each other develop, but really care about each other and help each other be better, because if each individual is better, we're all better.
I know we've talked about the contributions and stuff to the community, so why don't you touch on that a little bit?
Yeah. So another major part, foundational part of Rockholt Real Estate is not just being a part of, but contributing to the community. And so there are several local charities and nonprofits that I'm partnered with that we donate to out of every transaction. And local businesses is another big thing. So we're continuing to build relationships so that we have more to offer to each client from local businesses that we're partnered with, like specific discounts and deals that only Rockholt Real Estate clients can get from the local businesses. So that's another avenue, just a big benefit to everybody. But yeah, contributing to the local community is really big for us.
Okay, so that's pretty much all we got for you guys. If you thought this was valuable, if you got some golden nuggets out of it, leave a comment, share what you thought was essential if you're in real estate. And yeah, Josh, Rockholt Real Estate, thanks for coming. Thanks for being a part of the show of Kevin and his, I think I'm up to like 7 subscribers now.
Sweet,
killing
dude.
it. You might be one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. I appreciate it a lot. you know, there's a lot to talk about in our industry, and I think people should be talking about it so we can elevate the industry for everybody, clients and agents alike. And so, yeah, thank you. If anybody has questions, reach out. You can get a hold of us and we will answer any questions. We're glad to have those conversations. So
yeah, for sure. Yeah, call him, not me. I don't want to talk to you. All right.
I'll be there. I'll pick up the phone.
Cool. All right. See you guys.
Take care.